Why am I good?
All right, all right, all right. Here we go. Another episode of Shh, Quiet Please. Alan Depew, your host for the next 45 minutes or so. And we have four. We're playing as a foursome tonight. Players are changing, they're moving in and out. It's almost like Live, Andy.
Almost.
Almost similar yet different, but where's Ogletree? Hashtag.
Yeah.
Um, all I'm going to say is this. I am joined by my Mr. Consistency, Mr. Andy Hydorn of Q Mixers.
Gentlemen, nice to be with you all.
Always a pleasure, Andrew. Always a pleasure. To my left, some call him Boston. We call him Bourbon. He's Bobby Baldessari.
We got to figure out a grandfather name for me and for somebody else along the way.
Maybe we do. Maybe we do. Congrats on that. And folks, everything's beautiful. Everything's beautiful. You know why? Because the prettiest podcaster in golf is back. The one, the only, lowering our age or our demographics, Christian Nazamus.
What's up, boys?
What's
been
up,
a minute.
buddy?
The Vegas boy.
The Vegas boy.
You've been in Vegas. You've been in Philly. You've been in Harrisburg. You've been in Orlando.
Florida. Everywhere. I've been everywhere.
Hell. What
I've
is
been
that?
everywhere.
You
What'd
like
you
that Johnny song.
I've been everywhere, man.
Hey, nothing will beat when I'm sitting in Orlando's airport, by the way, and I get a text from Andy saying, "Hey, can you give me a call?" And I said, "Sure." And I gave him a call, and the next thing you know, he didn't mean to call me, as he meant to call someone else by the name of Christian. And I go, "What? Am I not important?" So I was a little offended by the big bro there for a bit.
I said, you're important, but, at this point in time, I'm going to have to find the other Christian.
All right,
I
so
was a little upset there. I popped a tear on the airplane.
Dab.
noticeably absent. I want to chime in here because BE is doing BE things. He has like 150 or more entries, I understand, for the Little Linksters Best Golf Swing. Bobby, what's that all about?
Oh, Brendan's been doing this for years. He gets the most impressive panel to vote on the swings you've ever seen in your life. I mean, Jack
Nicklaus, Annika.
Yeah. It's like first name. Like if you say the first name, that's all. It's one of those deals.
You've arrived. You've arrived when you can just say the first name. It's kind of like Christian.
Like Christian, yeah.
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 Apparently that wasn't enough for me, though.
Close. It's getting closer every time. Yeah, he does a great job.
Elaborate further. LittleLinksters.org, by the way. We support it. You should too, especially if you're in the Orlando area.
Yep. Yeah, it does a great job. Get those swings in him.
And the coolest thing about that too is his, Pee-wee swing competition produces some of the most phenomenal golf swings you'll ever see.
Unreal.
From the littlest people on the planet.
Didn't this? And by the way, the competition it did end. Unfortunately, we're recording on Tuesday night. It ended on Monday. They extended it a little bit, but I'm not joking. He's got like an insane amount of submissions for this thing, and I think this year he actually had to introduce a 5-year-old grouping or even less than that because he's getting so many submissions from young talent.
I'm telling you, if you're a golfer that appreciates a good golf swing, do a search and find this. It's called the best Pee-wee swing, right, Bob?
Yeah, well, it'll probably come up when you do that, but Google Little Linksters.
We'll go to Little Linksters, yeah.
Yeah, so if you want to partake in looking at some of the best, prettiest golf swings you'll ever see. It's a phenomenal thing.
Christian's got prettiest copyrighted, just saying.
I was gonna say, if you want to go see the prettiest swing in golf, just go to Mr. Alan Depew. The guy tells me he shoots 78 down with his sons, and he's gonna quit golf like a month ago.
This is it. Self-imposed retirement.
Yeah, you sound like me on the golf course when I was a kid too. I always say I used to quit. I'm gonna quit.
I swear to God, after I shot like double snowman with at the club managers in back in July 13th or July 10th. I didn't pick up a stick until I went to down to Pinehurst. And you know what? I didn't miss it. I know that's bad. That's like blasphemy. I get it. I'm in the golf business. This is a golf podcast. I should be playing golf all the time. Fuck it. I didn't want to play golf.
You're just a naturally gifted athlete. That's the problem here. You're just a naturally gifted athlete who has a very hot putter.
Yeah, I do.
All the time.
Sometimes you just got to get away, and the AD swing might have a little bit of AI in it.
That's right.
You could probably putt better than some of the Ryder Cup picks that Zach
Well, you know
Johnson
what? You know what? Hang on one second, because I want to come back to something with B. But yeah, I like where you're going, Christian, where it's all about me. Okay. But let me just tell you about my little Southern Pines, because I didn't see you. Because, well, you don't come see us anymore. Everybody's out there clamoring. Do you know how many messages I get all the time every week? Where's Christian? When's Christian coming back? Please tell me Christian didn't leave the show. We miss Christian.
I'll never leave you boys. You guys know that. I'm never going to leave you guys.
You know what? F that also. I'm
Andy
fired
can't
up.
get rid of me that easily.
I'm fired
Andy can't
up
get rid of me
today.
that easily. I know he wants to, but he can't get rid of me that easily. I'm his little bro. He can't do that to
I'm
me.
fired up, and I haven't even had any of Bob's bourbon.
Who am I going to have bourbon with? Who? The one and only? Bourbon Bob.
You gotta.
Christian
Different way to go.
is the glue of the Quiet Please podcast.
Christian, I got to tell you funny though, right? All right, so here's the funny. The third hole, third hole or fifth hole. Anyway, at Southern Pines, first day, because that's the only day I played well, right?
Yeah.
As you know, son number one, he could bomb it, so he bombs it, right? He hits his second shot into this par five and it actually hits it over the green. So big bomb it, struggling to make his par. Matter of fact, I think he means six. I bunted it. I bunted it again. I bladed it right in a bunker, bladed over the green, wedged it in.
You're the man.
There's no photos on the scorecard.
They both
That's the
just
beauty of
dropped
golf
it.
is that where's
Just
the whole
dropped
tree?
They both dropped their putter. Number 11, hit it down there, hit it fat, lands up there in front of the green. Andy, you would have been proud of this.
Always.
Easily a 2-foot break, probably about 50-footer. Bing.
Always proud and never surprised. How's that?
On my 18 Birdies app, which by the way, shameless plug if they'd like to sponsor us. On my 18 Birdies app, I recorded 0 putts.
Call that course management.
Which then leads into my second point of BE. Thank you, Bobby.
Right. I knew you were going.
I was not here for Scott Fawcett. Christian missed Scott Fawcett. BE implemented Decade Golf with some of his students this week. Would you like to chirp in with, and I mean, Andy can chime in on just the overall Decade Golf, but would you like to regurgitate what BE was telling us? And I think he even posted on his social.
Yeah, well, the gist of it is he's got that going with some of his students, his youth golfers. After that show, I had a bunch of people reach out to me and say, hey, I checked out that Decade Golf website. I'm going to sign up. I talked to the high school golf coach here at Woodford High School here in Versailles, Kentucky, and he's implementing it. It's just such a solid way of looking at getting around the golf course, helping yourself map around the golf course in some innovative ways. Sometimes people think course management is dry, and I'm not Ben Hogan, and it's like, no, this is there to help you, and you're gonna have a lot of bad days on the golf course physically with your swing. This is gonna help you map your way around to try to save shots and do better. It's a fantastic way.
Andy?
Do they really call it Versailles?
It's called Versailles in Kentucky, just like in Boston. It's
the dumbing down of America.
Yeah. Talk about the names back home in New England. But yeah, it's called Versailles here.
That's too funny.
Yep.
All right, Andy, give us an overview because Christian missed the whole Fawcett interview, which Actually, I missed it also, but good stuff.
Decade is awesome, and for our listeners that were on that night, Scott, went off on some really cool kind of explanations and tangent arguments about what it's all about and some of the pushback he gets from other people. But in general, what Decade does, it is a data-driven tool that basically gets you out of the old standard mindset of you must aim at this fairway, this part of the fairway, this part of the green. And what it really does is it uses strokes gained, and this is how he developed Decade. It uses strokes gained to figure out, you may be better off driving it into the rough on the proper side with the proper approach to the green than you are into the fairway on some shots. And going for pins, front pins, back pins, left pins, right pins, it just really kind of puts some logic and data behind strategy as to how people work their way around the golf course. And it's really a very contemporary way to look at things, because we're all about data now, and we all have the opportunity to get on Google Earth and look at kind of the overheads of some of these golf holes that are out there. And frankly, that's how he got going with this, using his Google Earth. But it's a really fascinating program, with some good insight, data driven, like I said, and anybody who's really interested in really not worrying about your swing so much, but worrying about how you're playing the game would benefit greatly from looking into Decade Golf.
So 2 points before Christian can chime in. One, I didn't realize I was so far ahead of this game when I was driving it into the rough to play a hole. That was newsworthy to me.
It has to be on purpose, Alan.
Oh, and two, it's funny because we have one great little junior, great kid, Joe Benesh. Shout out, Joe. Get back to college, start work on your game. Okay. He was qualifying for an event and we literally pulled it up on Google Maps and I said, have you ever used Google Maps? And just said, okay, I hit it to here, I hit it to there, I hit it to there, I hit it to there, just to know my distances to develop that game plan. I wish I had Google Maps when I played.
Right.
I would have been a never was. Christian, got any thoughts on Decade?
What was that?
Got any thoughts on Decade?
Interesting, to say the least, to be honest. I had Google Maps, but I never utilized it as much as I probably should have, to be honest with you. Yeah, all I'm going to say is interesting. I'd like to learn more about it, to be honest with you, and actually have like a conversation to go more in depth with them on it.
What I found interesting, and I'm trying to find the point that Brendan made, I'm actually on his social right now, where talking about with like short irons, you hit just to the center of the green. With mid irons, you're hitting to there was something about, Andy, did you see that? Or was Scott talking about that?
He talked about that.
Okay, I missed that part. Go ahead. What does that mean?
Well, I mean, in specific, what are you asking though? Because
from a strategic part to the game, you're standing there, you got a short iron, and Christian, you played Eagle. I mean, I'm on number 10 and I've got a 9 iron in my hand, and the pin's tucked behind the bunker on the left side, which is probably about 12 feet deep, maybe.
So this is Decade in a nutshell for you. Okay. So the way they analyze is you have a 9 iron in your hands. You know that the standard distance from the fairway with a 9 iron from the hole is, let's call it 30 feet. Okay. So if the pin is on the right front side near that deep bunker, you want to make 30 feet really the edge of the green. So that perimeter of that dispersion circle should be the edge of the green. On the other side, it's more toward the middle of the green. So your dispersion circle of 30 feet covers you that you're not going to be in the bunker when you hit that shot. If you miss right, left, short, or long, you're going to be in a good spot. And that, in a nutshell, is what Decade is. I mean, if let's say your dispersion again is 30 feet for a 9
I don't know. Let's just say that Andy's internet sucks, and it froze once again, Bob.
But he looks good.
He does look good.
He's starting to lean.
All right. Well, he leaned in and he just got like stuck there.
Some of the best comments I think we missed.
This drives me crazy.
Our new sponsor is the Elon Musk Starlink.
AT&T. And kiss my ass.
Can we get Fios, please?
I do have the highest service of internet here as well, and it's apparently not good enough.
Sounds like you have a Hall of Fame bad internet.
Yeah.
All right. So 30 feet so you're gonna aim to a spot where that 30 feet is gonna guarantee that the ball is gonna be on the green. Is that basically it in a nutshell?
Or in an easy area to get it up and down.
So even if what if that area means off the putting surface?
That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing about decade.
Bobby, notice how I used appropriate terminology.
Very nice.
That's the whole thing about decade is don't get wrapped up in needing to be on the green or the fairway.
Because said hole actually has a massive ridge behind.
It's all about strokes gained. You could be like perfect example. You could be on a green with a massive ridge, and you could be 20 feet from the hole, and it's impossible to two-putt it.
Yep.
Right. Yep. But if you're on the other side in the rough next to the green,
other than obviously aforementioned,
mere mortals we're talking about, mere mortals. But if you're on the other side of the green, even in the rough, it's much easier to get it up and down than it is the two-putt in some circumstances. So again, that's the whole basis of decade is understanding your strokes gained odds of getting it in the hole in the fewest shots is not always what you think it is.
There you go. Christian, your handicap's even going to go down further.
My handicap right now is a 1.1, and I haven't played golf in probably a few weeks, so I'm sure it's going up from there. But I am playing golf this Saturday, though, so I will keep you posted on how bad I do.
Oh, all right.
Use your head out there.
Bourbon Bob, I don't use my head out there anymore because I either have a drink in my hand or I hit the ball. I just want to have fun, or a cigar in my hand, for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
You know who's playing some golf right now, and this leads into the bulk of the show this week. I am referring to one Justin Thomas, who is posting on Instagram all over about how he's working hard on his game. Bobby, you weren't here last week. Christian, you weren't here. Let's just and now we have Luke Donald's picks. Let's go over it one more time. What's our thoughts? Love to hear your input. Bob, you go first. Team USA first.
Let's see. Yeah. Everything I'm seeing out there, the golfer, the consumer is not happy with the JT pick. And a couple of people said, well, make him an assistant coach. If he's that good in the room, he's that good a cheerleader, then make him supportive, but go with the hot hand. And the way the team is picked, it used to be the top 12. But then the way they put the points together, there was some inadequacies because it was over 2 years, and Andy Heidorn would be really hot 18 months ago. And yeah, he would cool off, but he made a bunch of points and he got on the team. I thought having a couple of picks made sense. Now you get 6 picks. Now is more interpretive as far as who's playing, who's not. Is it buddy system? Is it the good old boy network? Is we keep hearing about? Is it Lucas Glover, who was hot? Keegan's hot, and Keegan's a grinder, and Keegan wants to be on that team, but he's playing well. So now do you put somebody that hasn't been playing all that well, not a good record? Can you magically turn the switch? That's tough to do. To me, you go with the person that's playing better, playing well, the hot hand. I agree with that. I've never played on tour. I've been a tournament player. Andy's played tournament, Kristen. When you're playing well, that can linger and linger and linger. I remember Ben Crenshaw said one time, as long as it takes you to get into a slump, it takes you that long to get out of the slump. So if that's the case with JT, he's not getting out of this slump and he's going into the pressure cooker. I'm going to go out. I think the European team can win this thing. I don't think the U.S.
I don't disagree. And I mean, Andy, struggling. I mean, what's your thoughts on a struggling golfer going into the pressure cooker?
Well, let's just talk about a struggling golfer in general, right? And I'm a perfect example. I had a really good stretch last year, as we chronicled on the show, for about a month, and it was really bad before then, and it's been really bad, even worse since then. And nobody's worked harder at me at trying to get through whatever it is that I'm dealing with and what I'm doing wrong and trying to fix. And I just think that in general, the whole process of getting out of those slumps is really, really hard. And as our friend of the show, Dr. Stephen Yellen, calls it, he calls it swing prison. And Justin Thomas clearly is in that. I've been in it way too much. You start focusing way too much on what your golf swing's doing, not enough about how you're playing the game. And I think it's a real talent. It's a mindset talent, if you will, about how you actually go ahead and get out of those periods of poor play and get back into really playing golf like you know how. Me personally, it's been a miserable year playing golf. Like, I haven't played this poorly in 10 years. And this coming week, I leave Thursday to go to Amarillo for the Texas State Senior, which is the tournament that I lost in the playoff last year. And it's a tournament that means the most to me. And I've sat here and watched it get closer and closer on the calendar. I've grinded and grinded and grinded on the practice tee, and I'm telling you, it's a talent to figure out how to get out of those slumps. And I'm not good at it. I'm not good at it at all. And it's you see some people play golf who are really good at just being consistently either good or really good. And then you have people like me that I'm either good or I'm bad. And I think that that's a problem. And I think there's a lot of people. I think Jordan Spieth has that problem. And
Yep.
there's a lot of people that don't know how to manage that very well. And I've struggled really badly this year with that.
Some of
So,
the best
Christian-
rounds in golf are when you don't have expectations. When
As a
I did the same
right.
thing in college. I was
That's
going through it
huge.
in college. I had a coach that was up our ass every week. If you miss that 5-foot putt, you're not coming next week. You know, it was that kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, I've played some of my best golf when I don't have expectations. I'm sitting on the range one day in Philly at a tournament in college, and I'm dead shanking the ball off the hosel every single swing. And I'm not doing anything different with my swing. And I go out and I shoot like 75. I don't know how I did it.
But here's the thing, though, Christian, you hit the nail on the head, because you can go about that two ways. Like, you can be panicking on the practice tee because you're shanking everything.
Absolutely.
You can be trying all these fixes. You can be literally panicking, or you could just say, you know what? I'm just not on today, and whatever happens, happens. And 100% of the time, that second approach is what works.
Absolutely.
And the I can fix it approach hardly ever works.
I agree. But if you think right now that JT's not thinking of that at the moment, nobody can convince me otherwise. JT's had a shitty year for JT. He's had arguably one of his worst year, if not the worst year he's had on tour ever, if not in a very long time. If you're telling me right now that arguably the biggest tournament of the year, and I put the Ryder Cup over any other major, to be honest with you, if you put that over, if you're nervous going up to the first tee, which you should be, there's no way that he's not thinking about his bad performance all season. There has to be. Of course, he should be grinding right now. He should be out practicing and getting his game ready.
Yeah, but the point is, you can be grinding, you can be trying to get ready, but if you think that the answer is in fixing your swing,
yeah,
then you're going down the wrong path.
100% it's not in fixing your swing.
He's been doing that all summer.
100%. It's all right here.
Swing. Yeah.
It's all in your mind. It's all what you do. You got to have the confidence in golf. Golf's between the ears.
Yep.
JT's a phenomenal player. Nobody will take that away from him. He's arguably one of the best wedge players in the game, arguably one of the best short game players, and he drives the ball a country mile. So he can easily make it a flip of a switch, but mentally right now he's not there. He's not in his game right now. He's out of his element.
And I want to say, Bob, wasn't it Bill Pressey who was making some comments about JT swing a few weeks ago about how he was, kind of,
I thought he was saying it was how he was laying it off, wasn't he saying
not
that?
laying it off, but just kind of releasing his angles a little early.
Yep.
And that may be true, but everybody has DNA in their golf swing, right? Everybody's swing kind of looks like it does because you are who you are. And if you're not willing to accept that and you're always trying to change who you are, sometimes it may work in the long run. In a lot of cases, you're going to end up being, kind of in a bad way for extended periods of time. I'm the worst at it. I'm guilty.
I saw somebody make a comment like, hopefully JT doesn't become the next David Duval.
Yeah.
But I was looking at if you look at the Ryder Cup team for Europe, I think it's a heck of a team. It's got a lot of big boys. The captains or the vice captains been around golf a long time, major winners. I think it's a heck of a team. I really do. I mean, I don't see that it's not going to be super competitive. And if you go with the home field advantage, it could be big.
McIlroy on his game. Rahm on his game. Hovland, best player out there right now.
He's not on his game.
Yeah, he sucks.
What did you do last week?
By the way, Christian, that's our boy, right? Tommy Fleetwood, back. Justin Rose, back. Terrell Hatton, he'll hate the course.
Yeah, but don't sleep on a couple of their other guys. Don't sleep on like a Sepp Straka. He's not used to a Ryder Cup, but he's playing better than JT.
Aberg?
Yeah.
Huh?
The kid came out of nowhere, to be honest with you, too. I mean, but I'm telling you what, the bottom part of their team, because I'm looking at it right now, playing better than Spieth, arguably playing better than Morikawa as of late, arguably playing better than JT, obviously. That's a definite. I think he's literally the worst statistical player in this field, honestly.
30 days is a long.
Zach Johnson is going to either look like a god or he's going to look like Satan at the end of the day, because he's either going to say, I know something that nobody else does. If JT does not win a single match, hypothetically speaking, he's going to get looked at as the biggest bust that the U.S. has had for a Ryder Cup, in my opinion. Secondly, if he goes 5-0, he'll look like a god.
You're too young to make that statement.
But all I'm saying is that he won't win a singles match because there's no way. You think right now if JT goes up against Rory?
Oh,
come on!
What makes you think he's going to play Rory? I mean,
I'm just saying as an example. He can go up against Hatton. He can go up against Fitz. He can go up against Rose. He can go up against a struggling John Rahm.
I didn't even name Fitz in my little.
John Rahm, who's also been struggling the last 3 months of this season, can still beat JT right now. That's how bad JT's playing.
JT can beat every one of those guys.
I understand that. I didn't say every one of those guys, but as of late, with how bad his game has been, any one of these guys, I'd even put Rob McIntyre over JT at the moment because JT's playing that bad.
I don't know how Rob McIntyre feels about that comment.
You think the two people that I truly don't think right now that he could be on this team are Victor and Rory. Those, if he goes up against those two, and even a team event, what happened? Like I just don't know. Who are you going to put him with? Spieth, somebody who he's comfortable with.
I don't see JT playing more than two matches.
Right.
If that.
Yep.
It all depends on what happens in his first match. He'll get it now. They know leading up to Ryder Cup week how people are playing. I mean, we've seen that happen over the years where, they know someone's not playing good the week of, and they don't get a match, right? I remember, I believe it was either the Brookline Ryder Cup or the Oak Hill Ryder Cup, remember Jarmo Sandelin, the guy from
Yep.
Sweden,
Yep.
who used to wear those funky Oakley glasses, right? He didn't play a match until singles.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, 30 days is a long time away. And some of the guys that are in good shape right now may not be playing good then, and vice versa. So you never know.
Agreed. I mean, I think I just think it was such a bad decision. I think Christian, you're right. He's either going to look Zach's going to look amazing, or he's going to be even question more. But as I said, leading up to the selection, every one of the guys that I was going to pick, Ricky, which he did take, Lucas, and Keegan, are all good putters.
But how do you not choose Cam Young?
Because he's a bad putter.
He is a bad putter.
He was ranked 9th in the standings.
I agree.
Ahead of any of them. No offense, and I really like this kid. Sam Burns has no business being on this team. I'm sorry, but he has no business being on.
Morikawa shoots 61, and everybody's like, "Oh, Morikawa." Morikawa is not a good putter. I know he's two-time major champion. He is not a good putter.
But let's be real here. At the end of the day, there is no decision that's good or bad until the Ryder Cup's over.
100%. I agree
That's
completely.
correct.
It's all speculation. The best player on this team for the U.S. is Brooks. I don't care who says it. It's Brooks.
The ballsiest pick of the whole Ryder Cup was Luke Donald leaving Adrian Meronbk off.
Horrible decision.
And taking Ludwig Aberg. Adrian Meronbk won 3 times this year.
Yep.
One of them was actually on
that golf course
for the Ryder Cup.
The Italian Open's held.
Marco De Simone, right? I mean, like that's a ballsy person to leave off and to put on a rookie who's been out here for what, 4, 5, 6 weeks?
Was it Aberg, or should he left Hogart or Lowry off the team? Who I think he should have left off the team.
I don't know. I would say Hogart personally. That's just me, but
we can judge after the Ryder Cup and see who was right.
I just keep going back and forth between these two teams, and right now, in my opinion, the European team has the slight edge over us. I hate to say it, but I think they do, just based off of how these people have played all season. Okay. And I'm looking at it ever since Wyndham Clark went off and won the U.S. Open. He hasn't really done much, to be honest. Still a great player. I'm not going to take anything away from these guys. Scotty's been playing like crap the last couple months, just like Jon Rahm has. And
well,
yeah, it's like the best player on this team when you look at it from a statistical category, as well as who's the best player today in a major style settings. Brooks Koepka, hands down. Nobody. I'm a firm believer that when Brooks is in that zone, he's playing good golf. We just saw it at Oak Hill. If he's in contention, he's very tough to beat. Very tough to beat for a major. So
Bob is the only sitting PGA member on the panel tonight. What say you?
For what?
You've been strangely quiet, Mr. Baltzari.
No, it's been entertaining having Christian here and letting him fire at the pin. No, I mean, I said it earlier that I'm looking at this European team and I think they're solid. I think the home course advantage, the culture, everything. I think it's going to be a heck of a match. I can see European winning. To Andy's point, after the match, after the fact is when you did he make a good choice or not? But I just wonder right now if there's any undermining turmoil leading up, because it's all about this JT pick. It's these picks. So if let's just say, well, just for the heck of it, Zach says, we're going with Keegan Bradley and Glover. Like, does that make life smoother? Does everybody get behind it? Is now, all right, JT is going to be an assistant captain, number 17, whatever. I just wonder, like, the leading up, if now, does it galvanize the room and everybody gets together and puts their arms together and go, hey, we're going to fight for JT and he's going to play good? Could definitely happen. I'm just wondering, like on the front end, now they got to go all this questioning, all this Q&A, all this discourse. Does that help or not?
Well,
It's
we
all
hear,
about popularity.
we hear for years, one of you guys even probably said it in our group text, we've heard for years about Ian Poulter being selected simply because of who he is, what he brings to match play.
It's all popularity nowadays. It's literally all popularity. That's the
I
problem with the Ryder Cup.
I don't know that it's all popularity. I think politically, like, and maybe we're saying the same thing, Christian, but like, Bob, your question of what's the riskier pick, right? The riskier pick is picking Keegan, right? Because Keegan isn't an insider. So you are risking that, not a rift in the locker room, but you're risking, some of the guys not being happy that their buddy didn't get picked. So, I think in terms of being risky versus, kind of avoiding risk, I think he went the safe way. And if you read between the lines and you listen to all the commentary from
I love it when he has a profound point that he's trying to make, and he goes.
He's back, I think, though. He's back. He's back.
What profound point did we not get, Andy?
I'm back. What did I leave, like 5 minutes ago?
You went. The point is,
Alan gave you a quiet please, and you obeyed.
Andy thinks that I am literally pausing him.
No, I do not. I was saying that the point is that did you hear me about the risk versus risk averse pick?
Yeah.
I mean, like, to me, that's the thing. And if he goes and he picks against JT, all the commentary from all the vice captains and other players, nobody questioned the JT pick. Nobody did.
So
the media
did bad.
Bob, with the whole Azinger pod system, did you think that maybe contributed any component to that? That maybe is Zach maybe prescribing to that he needed to slot a certain guy, like he wanted somebody that does extremely well hitting the irons, which is Morikawa, versus a Keegan. That's actually the one that I'm hung up. I don't think JT should be there. I think it should be Glover. I think people have short term, but I've said all along it came down to it was a coin toss between Keegan and Morikawa.
I think the pod thing with Zinger didn't play into it. Everything I'm aware of from sort of kind of inside is he did his thing and it might have worked, but not a lot of people were buying into that, or I don't know if it's the right form to get into it here, but I don't think it had a bearing.
Got it.
But I think they still kind of abide by the rules of the pod, though.
It's interesting. It's you hear a lot of different things on the inside, and maybe it's jealousy, and he won it, and who knows? I don't know. But speaking of Hall of Fame golfers, you're the segue man. I know.
I was going to say either way, JT, in my opinion, is on the hot seat.
Yeah.
By far, do you think? Do you honestly? Do you guys think that affects his play, knowing that he was a toss up for a pick?
Absolutely, he's going to grip it harder. But
I agree.
You know who's going to be gripping? You know who's going to be gripping it tight right now? Christian and Zamas, because you're on the hot seat.
Okay, Christian, you have to answer these questions to the best of your ability using truth and speed. How's that?
Truth and speed.
Yeah.
No mulligans.
No.
What's your lowest 18-hole score?
67.
What are your 3 favorite courses you've played?
Harbor Town, Beaver Meadows, and Boy, it's a tough one. That's a tough
It
one.
could be,
Oak Hill. Oak Hill.
could be miniature golf course too.
It could be. Hago Harrington's.
Stone.
What are the 3 courses you would love to play that you haven't played?
That I haven't played: Pebble Beach, St. Andrews, and Old Liverpool.
Okay. Name the 3 best players of all time in no order.
Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus, and Rory McIlroy.
Wow. What's the best part of your game, Christian?
Driving. Irons. I lied. Irons.
What's
Not
the
driving.
What's the worst part of your game?
Putting.
What, in your opinion, what skill is most important to play great golf?
Having the right mindset.
We're getting a lot of good answers on that one. Because, you would think that people are going to think of something physical, but a lot of people our hot seat guest last week, Alan Depew, was on mindset as well, if I remember correctly.
After also said flexibility.
Yes, that's right.
69 degree shoulder turn.
Christian, PGA Tour or Live?
Next question.
That a boy. That's my boy. That's why you're my brother.
Next question.
Who's your favorite golfer, past or present?
Favorite golfer, past or present? Where's Andy Ogletree? No, I'm kidding. My favorite golfer, past or present, Arnold Palmer.
Christian, you survived the hot seat.
Thank you so much. Can I actually change an answer, please? Because Rory McIlroy is not a top 3 golfer. It's Bobby Jones. I want to change. I was panicking, and Tiger, Jack, and Bobby Jones.
That was a good mulligan. Good mulligan.
Speed and truthfulness.
Yeah. I panicked, so I apologize. So,
all right, Bobby, 18th green. Let's wrap it up. What you got?
So the Hall of Fame, I don't know what everybody was doing in September of 1974, but the World Golf Hall of Fame opened in Pinehurst. Had some different iterations there. At one point, the PGA of America oversaw it. I remember going to, when I was at Salem State, and we did a trip to Pinehurst, and we toured the museum. It was great. And then it ended up for 25 years in St. Augustine. I've been up there many a time. Really, really cool what they did. Unfortunately, they just could not get the right amount of guests there. I think they topped out at about 250,000 a year. So yes, I'm a lover of golf history. And now the World Golf Hall of Fame will be residing in Pinehurst on the 2nd floor of the new USGA building there. So looking forward, if you get to Pinehurst, if you want to see some really, really great treasures of the game, that's where you have to go. It was a shame. What they did, I thought it was really, really terrific in St. Augustine. I thought what they did for that World Golf Hall of Fame was a really neat setting, but unfortunately it just didn't work there. And maybe the design, layout, location, I don't know, but it's a really neat thing, and I'm glad it's not going away, just getting moved a little bit north.
So I can tell you, Bobby, I can report that construction is flying as you make this turn, come to the circle and turn right to go into the resort itself. It's right on the right-hand side. There's that old white building that used to be there. They're doing some repurposing of that, and the parking lot's right there. And it looks like it's going to be spectacular.
Nice.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I heard that they were moving the Hall of Fame there. I didn't realize they were going to coexist in the same building with the USGA golf house.
If I could add one quick thing, if anybody out there ever wants to win a beer bet, when I was at PGA Village, we had the PGA Museum of Golf. When you walked in the Museum of Golf with the PGA, there was literally a box filled with sand, and it went back to the days of Scotland. So when anybody now says to you, which tee box are we using? And that's the American version of where we're going to start the hole. Just say, how are we going to stand on a little box filled with sand?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can win a beer bet, because truly, when you say what tee box are we using, that's the wrong vernacular. But people say sand trap, people say all kinds of crazy stuff.
And that's why he's our resident historian.
I love that stuff.
Andy Hydorn.
So, having worked in the New England region as a Callaway salesperson for so long in the early part of my career. It was always such a sprint during the season, once April 1st rolled around, and all of my customers who are all the golf pros were working their asses off for all these summer months, and it's a sprint. It's like madness for those summer months, and then come the beginning of September, they get to take a little breather and get to start playing in some tournaments. The section championship is always being played this time of year. Then they have the Pro-Am series coming up at the end of the month. So it's always nice to have my customers get a chance to play a little golf at the end of the year. And today was the first day of the New England PGA Championship, and Rich Barbarian Jr., who is, albeit a national club pro champion 4 or 5 years back, shot 59 in the first round of the New England PGA Championship today, which is just an incredible round of golf. So cheers to the New England PGA and all those good guys up there, and amazing round of golf by Rich Barbarian.
Andy, that was a wicked, awesome round of golf. Very wicked. It was wicked.
Christian, now that you've had a cool beverage from the hot seat, got any final thoughts?
Just continue to follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and most importantly, Twitter, or now it's called X, I believe, whatever the proper name is. We have a lot of great stuff. Again, I know I can't believe it's already September. It's already past Labor Day. But we still have a lot of great guests coming on the show in the next few months for you guys. Hopefully, I will be here moving forward as many times as I can as far as my work schedule goes, but I'm always here when your boys' heart, as you know. You can't get rid of me that easily. So, and I hope that Zach Johnson's picks were worth it.
And I've got a 1 and 1A for my final thoughts. One is Tiger was seen walking a golf course in South Florida, caddying for Charlie. Matter of fact, it's all over social. So that's a good sign. And then secondary, it's kind of a don't be that guy, Andy. Don't be a tournament official and cut underneath ropes trying to drive the player, the competitor, back to the 18th tee. And for the playoff at the Women's Irish Open, Anne Van Dam, driver gets caught in the ropes, rips it off the bag, snaps the club head. She loses in the playoff. Don't be that driver or official.
All the above.
That's it. Peace out, boys.